Hi everyone, this is Jacob with Oak Endurance. Now we are going into part 2 of the TVA muscle. We're going to talk about how we're going to work on it, all right? I will probably make a video as well going over the blood pressure test, the check test that I learned. If you're a client of mine, you've probably done that test with me where you put the blood pressure cuff underneath you and see if you can engage the core, right? I need a partner for that. I don't have that today. So instead, we're going to go over the exercises, the homework that I would give to people if they're doing this exercise, okay? Again, to understand the way this muscle works, I think one of the best ways to do this is to stand up against the wall, everything's flat, and try to, you can put your hands behind your back. Can you brace and suck the belly in so that the wall and your back become flush, all right? If you stick your hands, can you create that, or can you get rid of that space, right? If we're standing just with a normal lordotic curve, right? And sucking in, okay? Can you get rid of that space, all right? Now, exercise-wise, that I'm gonna talk through, all right? Level 1. I want you lying flat. You're gonna bring the feet up so they are flat here, okay? This is just like we're testing that TVA with the blood pressure if you've done that before, okay? Hands are flat. All I want you to do, you can actually put your hands slightly behind your back as well if you want to, kind of see if you're activating or not. It's up to you. But what I want you to think about doing here is driving a few different cues here. The first one, drive the belly button down towards the ground. Okay? You'll see as I do that, it gets harder for me to talk. All right? Cue number 1. Cue number 2, think about your tailbone. All right? Think about driving the tailbone down and slightly at a diagonal away. Okay, down and slightly at a diagonal. Okay, it's called the posterior tilt. All right, those are the first 2 cues I want you to think about. As we advance these, there's some other ones you can add in as well. Okay, this is level 1. Sitting here, creating that shake in that lower abdominal region. All right, just getting comfortable with that. Can you hold this for 30 seconds? Can you hold it for 45, 60 seconds? Right? If so, your time to progress to level 2, all right? Level 2, engage and breathe. In through the nose, out through the mouth. Can you take deep breaths while keeping that muscle engaged? Why is this important? Your diaphragm that sits under the rib cage is a muscle, all right? When it contracts and when it works, the rib cage moves up and down, right? Can you keep that muscle, that TVA muscle that's attached on the bottom side of that rib cage, engaged while that diaphragm works to bring the rib cage up and down? As I inhale and then exhale, rib cage moves up and then down. Okay? Again, you can have your hands flat and just keep yourself honest. Can you truthfully say your back's not going up and down? Are you doing this type of thing? Right? I'm being extreme here, but is your back going up and down as you breathe? If it is, you got to keep working on it. Don't go on to level 3, all right? The other way you can test, like I said, you can put the hands underneath too, or you can buy a blood pressure cuff as well and do that test on your own, all right? If you can do that, the next step, there's a few different ways you can take this. I like to bring the legs up, all right, and work on specifically bringing the femurs yourself into hip flexion, all right, and work on, while you're in a hip flexion, can you keep the core stable? Again, keep breathing. Can you keep it stable in hip flexion? If the answer is yes, level 3 is passed, all right? For cues on that one, that's where it gets a little bit more fun. I like to think about, and I actually love level 3 as an activator before runs for myself and pretty much everyone I'm working with. As you're doing this, I like to think about the femur bones, the thigh bones, drifting up towards the sky and the hands on the thighs drifting into each other and up. Drive up, 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 okay? If you can do that, that's passing level 3, all right? Level 4 gets into alternating leg lifts. From here, what we're gonna do is we are now gonna go back to this position. We're gonna engage that TVA, and we're gonna work on lifting one leg at a time, back and forth, okay? Once you can do this, you can make your lever a little longer, okay? Until finally, that gets us into alternating single leg lifts, all right? That's level 4, or I guess 5 and 6 if you want to think about it that way. Progressing it from there then gets into more advanced exercises like leg lifts, dead bugs. You know, you can eventually get into like the plank series and things like that. This muscle is very important. It's one of those basics that we need to understand. Again, the what and the why was in the last video. That's the how. Those are the progressions that I take and have my clients do. If you have questions, go ahead and reach out. It's a very complicated muscle. Thank you.